All right, everybody. Banner's coming down, and we're going to start the show right sucking now.
Yes.
That's what the kids say now. Instead of the F word, they say sucking.
Sucking? I didn't know that.
No, they don't.
Right.
They don't. My wife says that.
Oh.
Oh, you think you're a big sucking deal? Well, I do think I'm a big sucking deal. We'd like to welcome Mallory here today. She's in the background as a producer here.
Nice.
She might pop in at any moment. I don't think you can.
If we say something
wrong, you're not seeing
wrong.
her out there. If we say something wrong, she's going to fix it for us. But she's going to have fun in the background as we do the show as we always do it now live Monday, Wednesdays and Thursdays. This is the Thursday edition.
Day it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Bob, how are you doing today? By the way,
doing well, thank you. Hello, everyone. Steve Barrett, good to see you.
Yeah.
So
Steve
we have
Barrett and Bob Baxa here with
a lot
you.
of stuff happening.
There's so much stuff happening that we can't keep up. So we do this 2 days a week so far, and there's too much to get. There's too much. We leave everything on the cutting room floor.
Right. Too much going on.
All right. So, we're gonna start out today though. Doing what we did yesterday. We're going to look at the news, Bob. I want to. Who do you want to start with? You want to start with Fox News? You want to start with CNN? You want to start with MSNBC? Maybe the New York Times. Whatever. It's your choice.
MSNBC. They're
MSNBC.
They're called MS Now. Ms. Now. That's their name.
Okay.
Ms. Now. So let's see what Ms. Now has to say.
Let's see what Ms. Now has on their website this morning. Let's see what they consider to be the news that we should all be talking about, right?
Something negative, a negatively framed reference about Trump and Iran. That's my guess. Very negative.
That's your guess. All right.
Yes.
Here's the reality here. Pope Leo stepping into the fray. The nuclear button for the Vatican.
What?
So they're saying Trump's threats to end civilization in Iran prompted a move by the Vatican that historians call extraordinarily rare.
Wow.
Pope Leo has never shied away from denouncing injustice, it says, but for months he avoided anything explicitly political. Then this week, Donald Trump threatened to destroy an entire civilization. So MSNBC is still going there. They still want to talk about what he said over the weekend,
right?
Which I think everybody has a problem with. I don't know why he had to say that we were going to wipe out a civilization. That's a pretty ridiculous claim,
but then
Bob.
of course the same people are saying in the next breath, he didn't even wipe out a civilization. We made this joke yesterday. He never wipes out civilizations when he says he will wipe out a civilization. You can't
And I don't know why
Trump
he does. Why does
anything.
he lie to us like that?
He lies
why is
about
he such
wiping
a liar?
out civilization. Like, they're so psychotically mentally ill and I've even seen memes where the joke of the meme is, and now pivot into criticizing Trump for not wiping out a civilization. And that's like the joke of the meme. And it's all over the internet on left-wing sites, and just normal left-wing people they're not normal, they're mentally ill, but that I see on Facebook, talking about how taco, that's the big thing, taco. It's an acronym.
Trump always
chickens out. So they're criticizing Trump for saying wipe out a civilization, and then saying he chickened out and didn't wipe out a civilization. So they just don't get the fact that Trump uses hyperbole. Like, the fact that you're still looking at every word this guy says. It's what, 12 years now?
He's not a regular president. He's not a regular president
11 years later?
anymore.
No, he's not.
All right.
He says crazy stuff.
Here's another headline,
right.
Very anti-Trump. Trump's genocidal threat to Iran may have caused irreparable damage to the U.S.
How? How did that? What damage? I would love to know what damage that has caused. Yeah, damage to the psychotic leftists whose panties are all twisted up. Maybe that's what they mean. It's like panty damage somehow that happened as a result of the left.
And here's what you were talking about. While a ceasefire agreement averted threatened devastation in Iran on Tuesday, President Donald Trump's prior threat that a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again, cannot and should not be forgotten. His words promising to inflict such massive violence should not be forgotten because they are quite literally criminal in their utterance. So they're saying that he has committed a crime just by saying that.
Right.
Well,
which is
they're going to try to prosecute him for that.
Oh, there's no doubt.
Moving on.
He'll be
So moving on,
prosecuted.
let's go to Fox. Let's see what Fox News has to
All
say
right.
today. Fox News.
Trump will
Boom.
be charged with war crimes at some point if the Democrats
Okay.
take control. All right.
So Fox News, their headline is that Iran warns U.S. what will happen if upcoming talks if Israel keeps bombing terror group.
All
Yeah.
right.
So
Yeah, I'm not-
here I read this
Israel-
story. Iran's basically saying that they want to add Israel and their
I
attacks
know.
against Hezbollah to the ceasefire. So after
Right.
the fact, they want to come back and say, "Oh, wait a second. We also want Israel to stop
Right.
bombing Hezbollah."
Which
in
that's
Lebanon.
not connected. I mean, Hezbollah and Israel is a separate thing. And, trying to kind of wrap that all up into the U.S. versus Iran is silly. It's completely separate. It's not the same thing. And we will not be agreeing to that. But one of the things I'm seeing all over the internet is that Iran had this 10-point, peace plan thing. And part of it was that they must be allowed to continue enriching uranium. And of course, the mental cases on the internet are like, this is worse than what Obama had. Trump completely messed this up. And it's like, can you stop believing every stupid thing you see on the internet? Trump is not going to let them enrich uranium. That's just not going to happen. There's no way he's going to allow that. And the fact that you are just so ready to believe the most insane stuff it's silly. It really is silly.
All right. Here's CNN's headline today. We're going to talk about CNN a little bit more in the show here in a minute. But for now, let's just look at their headlines. Main headline is the shipping route through the Strait of Hormuz. And they're using a picture here, obviously, of how many ships are not, I guess, going through the Strait of Hormuz. And headline says, U.S. and Iran prepare for talks as vital shipping route remains restricted. So what they're trying to point out is that even though Trump says, oh, we got a ceasefire, we got the Strait of Hormuz opened, we're still not seeing ships going through it. And then their subheadline reads, the fragile ceasefire appears to be holding. So it's fragile, but it appears to be holding with fewer attacks in the region.
Tell me if I'm wrong, but don't...
So they can't just say that the ceasefire appears to be holding.
No,
they have to say the fragile
Yeah,
ceasefire.
But something bad is happening. Doesn't the United States have all the oil we need on our, sovereign property, like between Texas and Alaska and other places within the United States? So, but I think we can't get it because of environmental restrictions. And so instead, we're getting, it's not like we're not using the oil. We can't run our society without the oil. So the leftist mindset is oil is bad for the environment. Therefore, we're not going to let the United States get it out of the ground in the United States. But we have to have it.
Countries who
we're just going to go elsewhere.
Much worse environmental standards, we're going to let them get the oil because we don't want the United States with good environmental standards to be taking the oil ourselves. That's what they want.
That's what's happening. That is what's happening, and it's been happening like that. So, of course, we have to have the oil. They don't want the oil coming up out of the ground in the United States with all sorts of environmental, regulations and rules. So let's get it from a crazy, insane dictatorship in the Middle East that chants death to America and has absolutely no environmental, regulations whatsoever. The whole thing is so dumb. Why don't we just get oil from our own country?
I've never understood that. Why we can't just get the oil that we have from our own country and do it that way.
Forget about the Middle East.
Apparently, we're not allowed to do that for some reason.
So insane.
Yeah. All right, listen. First clip of the day, we're going to talk about Lawrence O'Donnell, and he's freaking out because remember the rescue that happened on Easter Sunday. Right. Lawrence O'Donnell is angry that Pete Hegseth made a reference that is not cool.
Remind everyone, he's a anchor on CNN.
No, he's an anchor on MSNBC.
Oh, MSNBC,
right?
Whatever,
no, is he?
Same thing.
Yeah,
I thought he was on CNN.
Same thing. Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
No, he's MS now, dude. Okay, he's MS now,
and he's just such an absolute D word. We're trying not to curse in the live.
Well, I don't think douchebag. I don't think
Or I was
douchebag
going to
is.
say the Richard word.
Oh,
but
the Richard word.
He's such a jerk.
Okay,
He's
let's
one of
listen to
those guys,
what a jerk he
yes.
is. All right, here we go.
That brilliant rescue was described by the Secretary of Defense and by General Dan Kane, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, as a long-standing American military rule of never leaving anyone behind.
We leave no man behind.
That is, of course, the old school version of the idea back when only men flew American military planes. General Dan Kane,
Such an idiot.
the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, put it this way.
We leave no one behind.
So O'Donnell's
The
trying
two
to
things
point
are
out
interchangeable. Yeah, they're
that
interchangeable.
he said man instead of
cares? It's so dumb.
someone
Right.
behind.
They're interchangeable. Man means human. Everyone knows this. It's like all men are created equal. It means human. All humans are created equal. When Pete Hegseth said we leave no man behind, he means we leave no American behind. I mean, you're searching every syllable to try, like, what?
To try and
that
find something.
syllable was wrong.
Anything at all.
Anything. You're looking like syllable by syllable to find a reason to be upset. And that he's very representative of these people on the left. They wake up every day and look for reasons to be angry. They want to be angry. Chris Plant always says, my favorite talk radio guy, the left, you're not happy unless you're not happy. And that sums it up right there. They're not happy unless they're not happy. They are looking for reasons to be mad. And Lawrence O'Donnell right there proves it with this non-issue that Pete Hegseth just said.
All right, we're going to stick with the Pete Hegseth theme,
Okay, we
and
do like
Mallory, who's in the
love
background listening up,
Yeah.
and can interject at any time, sent us this one, and I thought it was
What?
fantastic.
What did he do?
So Pete Hegseth is now taking a page out of the Donald Trump book
Oh.
to deal with reporters.
I know what this is,
and
yeah.
he kind of eviscerates this reporter. Apparently, middle of
right.
a press conference. I think this was probably yesterday or the day before, and a reporter is in the back of the room screaming questions, and Hegseth
Right.
has to put this reporter in her place. It sounds like a woman. I know that you're
trumped
probably
her.
not supposed to.
He had to
You're not
trump
supposed to identify people by their
No,
voices.
she could be a man.
But
Yeah,
she could be it could be a man voice. But let's listen to how Hegseth dealt with this person in the back.
Yes.
Thank you, Secretary Hegseth.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Why are you so rude? Just wait. I'm calling on people.
Thank you, Secretary Hegseth.
And listen to what he says here.
A civilization.
Just nasty.
Yeah, he's
nasty.
right. I mean, come on. You're screaming stuff while he's calling on someone else. It's rude to your colleague. I mean, you're there to ask questions. He's clearly going to answer your question. I say you weren't rude to Pete Hegseth. You were rude to your other colleague that was getting called on. Like, why are you yelling stuff when your colleague across the room is
Well,
clearly
you heard
the
her
one
say,
that
you're
got
not
called on?"
asking us in the back. You're not giving us any
Right.
questions in the
Well-
back. That's what she's yelling.
Karine Jean-Pierre, KJP, cringe on Pierre. She used to never call. I mean, it's a well-known fact that James Rosen from Newsmax, because he asked Joe Biden about his mental condition, for like the next 2 years, they refused to call on him. It's well known. Everyone knows this. He would not get called on by KJP because they didn't like that one question, which, as it turns out, was a very prescient question. Like, it was right. Joe Biden was mentally incapacitated, but this woman's complaining. I guarantee she does get called on, and she's just mad because she didn't get called on in this exact moment. She's being a baby. I mean, that's it. And she was rude. So good job, Peter.
All right, before we leave the Iran war behind, we need to mention two things in CNN. I'll share this screen with you. You can see just an article from CNN. There's also a video version where they interview this guy. But one of the things they're taking a little heat for, from me certainly at least, is that they interviewed the son of a former Iranian commander who says, as you can read here, that in Iran they fear that U.S. talks are a trap, and they also use this as a lower third while they're He didn't even explain what he meant, but I find it interesting that CNN again is trying here to set it up like it's the U.S. government that's actually being like sleazy here and
Right.
not
course.
dealing
We're
properly
the enemy.
with the Iranian government. We're the enemy.
They're not on
and,
our side.
And even the Iranians think that we're trying to set them up for some trap. We're trying to trick them into something, which is what the Iranians have done for, almost 50 years here.
Right.
So
I mean, the Democrats are not on our side. It's clear. The Democrats in the mainstream media want the U.S. to fail in any way that we could fail. They want us to fail because then it can be blamed on Donald Trump. Their hatred of Trump outweighs any love of country. I'm not sure that they even have ever loved our country, but if they ever loved our country, their hatred of Trump is way, way above any love of country. Oh, let me point out that my shirt says this is exactly what I voted for.
and this is another example of that.
I did not vote for this war, so I want to make it clear.
But
that
you say that you didn't vote for this.
no,
So I'm
I did not
confused.
vote for this war. I'm kind of feeling that this war is. I don't know.
it's-
I'm ambivalent on this. Very ambivalent. I don't like getting involved in the
All right,
Middle East,
unfortunately, my share's not working. Oh, no, here
Oh,
comes my
there
share.
you go.
So this is another example from CNN. So the Trump administration is complaining that and they were trying to come up with this ceasefire. They issued, like CNN reported on this list of 10 demands that Iran had. And
Yes,
my
yes,
understanding
yes.
is they just had some guy called up the public
Right.
television station in
Right.
Iran, which is the government television station
Yes.
in Iran, and said, hey, here are the demands that we're telling the U.S. And then so CNN reports this, and the negotiators for the United States looked at the CNN report and said, wait a second, that has
That's
nothing
not our-
to do.
you know.
The Iranian officials that we're talking to are not saying any of these things.
Right.
And CNN was basically caught with their pants down and had to apologize. And they did apologize for this. Trump called them fraudsters circulating
Right.
documents related to negotiations between the U.S. and Iran over the country's conflict. And he said
Right.
that numerous agreements, lists, letters are being sent out by people that have absolutely nothing to do with the U.S.-Iran negotiation. In many cases, they're total fraudsters. So basically, you've got people calling up television stations in Iran saying, hey, we're from the government now because the government's completely been
Right.
wiped out and nobody knows who the government is. So they're basically, I don't know, just trying to get a moment in the spotlight, maybe. They're 15 minutes of fame. I don't know.
There's
But-
no doubt in my mind that if someone who is calling from Iran and just calls the CNN, news desk and says, "Hey, I have the list of 10 demands," CNN would, if the demands make Trump look bad, then CNN will run with them immediately. It doesn't matter who the guy is. I don't think they care who he is. All that matters is, can we sort of frame these demands as being bad for the U.S., therefore Trump is screwing up. That's all that matters. So who knows even who's calling in with these demands? The U.S. is talking to people. I think a big part of this is knowing who's even like making calls right now in Iran, because
Right,
we've
and that-
killed
and that-
so many of them.
That, I think, is the whole point, that
Yeah.
no one knows who's running things except for the U.S. government. They know who they're dealing with, and all the
Right.
other people are ancillary. They don't matter.
Yes.
And
Yes.
CNN is like giving them a voice and saying, oh, well, listen to this person who claims to be running Iran.
Yes.
Even the FCC chair, Brendan Carr, has gotten in on it because CNN. So he calls it more, he calls their response more outrageous conduct from CNN, because CNN, their communications department on X. So this is not CNN, the newsroom, saying this.
Okay.
This is the communications, their PR
Oh,
people.
I didn't
right?
know they
so
had
they
that.
tweeted this out. They said the statement in question was obtained by CNN from Iranian officials and reported on multiple Iranian state media outlets. We received
Nice.
the statement from specific official Iranian spokespeople who are known to us. So CNN is standing by their little report there and claiming that they had every right to put this out on their air, even
Right.
though it means nothing.
Who knows?
Okay.
All right. Should
All
we
right.
move on? We've got a lot on Iran.
We have gone a lot on
noticing
Iran, and now I want to
we
go.
always
I want to
go
surprise
long.
you with something,
Right.
and this is Canada. I'm going to surprise you right now with Canada and
Love
a
Canada.
soundbite
Our favorite
from a
left-wing country.
politician. This is a
Okay.
politician in Canada who you'll find out in just a moment. It's just more ridiculous. That's the only thing I can say. This is more
Okay.
ridiculousness from Canada.
What does he say? All right.
Coming up? It's a she.
She,
It's a
okay.
she, and
We
her
think
name is
she's a
Leah Gazan.
Okay.
She'll get into this in just a second here. Let me pause her.
Never know
We're
what
doing-
it could
we're
be.
doing it
coming out of
live.
Canada.
We're doing it
Yes, we're
live.
Do it live. Do it
We're gonna
live.
do it live.
Love
All right. This is Leah. Leah
right.
kind of looks like you would expect her to look, and she's
Exactly.
complaining.
Yes.
Yeah, she's complaining about cuts in the budget,
All right.
to the federal budget. So let
Got
me
it.
make this a little bigger for you, and you can just listen to what she's talking about.
When the budget was released, I was shocked to find out that Prime Minister Carney is cutting $7 billion between Indigenous Services Canada and Crown Indigenous Relations. They provided $0 to deal with the ongoing genocide of MMIW G2S LGBTQIA+.
Whoa! What?
This is
What
callous.
did she just say? Wait, can we?
I'll play it again. Hang on, let's play it.
That's
With the
the
ongoing
longest one
genocide
I've
of
ever heard.
MMIW G2S
Wait,
LGBTQIA+. Ongoing genocide of MMIW G2S LGBTQIA+. MMIW G2S LGBTQIA+.
What? MIW. What is M? Or I or W?
but this is the part that you're going to love because your boy
MMIW.
Matt Walsh. Everybody knows you love
MMIW.
you love Matt Walsh.
LGBTQILL. I mean, it was so long. It's the longest one I've ever heard. It used to be LGB, lesbian, gay, bisexual. That was the thing. LGB, and then we added T, and from there we are now up to. She clearly just said about 12 to 15 letters.
Right.
It was so long that I still don't know. MMIW. I don't know what MMI or W is. No idea.
Well, your boy Matt Walsh
Okay,
has
that's so
solved,
good. Oh my
solved
God.
the mystery. So
All right, what does
Matt
Matt
Walsh
say?
posted this shortly after this thing started hitting the internet, started popping up all over X.
That
he
was
looked it
funny.
up for us, and he
Okay.
says, "For those who don't speak woke retard, I looked it
Nice.
up, and apparently MMIWG2SLGBTQQIA+ means missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and two-spirit, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer questioning, intersex, and asexual plus." So apparently they have added murdered people to the
Go
list.
in with lesbians? Like,
Yeah,
what
so
is a
murdered people,
person
anybody who's
have
murdered gets to
do
be
with
part
a
of the clan now,
That's
right?
so
Gets to
weird.
be part of the group.
That
Right.
doesn't make sense to me. I had no idea that murdered people get put in with lesbians and intersex. I don't know what intersex is. Asexual, questioning. Like, I have questions. Am I considered? I have questions about.
I'm questioning. We
stuff.
question a lot of stuff. We're in
Yeah.
there, dude.
How-
We
I'm a-
are questioners.
I question things. So, I mean, I question how the left is so mental. So, am I included because I'm a questioner?
Yeah,
I'm very.
we're all
I'm
included.
questioning.
It's
Yeah.
fine. If you
think
are
I'm cute.
murdered while you're questioning,
Right.
then
I
you
am
get
cute.
like, then you get like,
I'm
I think
not
it's a
queer,
red
but
card.
I'm question. Yeah, I'm
Because they now
question-
give you a card for each one
Right.
of those things that you are, each one of those
So
letters
there's
that
30
you are.
cards.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
That was
All
good.
right. You
Thank
wanted to talk
That was
about
fun.
Irina Zarutsky's killer.
Yeah, this
He
is a
was
horrible
found
tragedy.
incompetent to stand trial, and
So annoying.
What you think, and I think you're a bit extreme here, but you think that these people should be euthanized or something?
Yeah, put down
that what
like
you said?
rabid dogs. Absolutely. If you're a man, if you get on a train and
Can't
say,
be serious, dude.
if you get on a train and say, I got that
Okay.
white girl, and make the decision to stab a woman, and you clearly were targeting a white person, you said it out loud. You said, I got that white girl. So
Mm-hmm.
you wanted to murder a white person. I mean, what
So you
person-
think there should be a death penalty? I think what you're saying
For
is
him,
there should be
yeah.
a death penalty for people who are so crazy that they just kill someone randomly for no real reason without having, like crazy murder like that.
There should be no innocent by means of insanity. I mean, if you get onto a subway train and stab a woman to death, you're clearly crazy. Like normal people don't do that. So normal people don't do any murder. So you could make the argument that every person who commits murder is somewhat crazy. Like, how is that a way to get out of punishment? Okay, the guy's crazy. Clearly he's crazy. He stabbed a woman to death on a train. So I don't care if he's crazy. He goes to trial, and when he's found guilty, he's on video doing it. He's clearly guilty. He goes to prison for life. Like, great, we put a crazy guy in prison. That's where he belongs. Like, where else should we put crazy guys who stab women repeatedly on trains? Like, isn't prison the place that we've come up with to put a crazy guy who stabs a woman on a train? Like, we know women. We have women in our lives. I don't want a guy who stabs women on a subway train to be out. And what we've come up with,
Well, I don't think he's going to be out. I don't think he's ever going to be out. He shouldn't have been out in the first place, is the whole point.
I worry if he could maybe get out, because with this incompetent to stand trial ruling, I think that there is a possibility that 10 years from now, once this has completely died out of the public, awareness, that there'll be a small announcement like, oh, he's been cured. He's had 10 years of intensive therapy, and so we're going to let him go. I say, if he's incompetent to stand trial, he goes to a lockdown mental facility, and if at some point they decide that through therapy he is now competent, at that point he gets transferred to the regular prison where he serves out the rest of his life. You don't release him, you transfer him from the mental hospital lockdown unit to the regular prison.
To the prison.
Yes, that's what I think.
And I
should
think
be
that
happening.
happens.
I don't
that
know.
happens.
I
though.
think sometimes we let them out.
But if
and
you're
say
incompetent
they're
to stand
okay.
trial, I suppose they wait until you. What happens there is once you're competent to stand trial, then your trial begins.
I don't know.
pretty
I
sure
don't think that always
that's the
happens.
system.
I'm worried that does not
right.
happen sometimes. But anyway, throw this guy
All right.
in
All
a
right.
cage and throw away the key.
All right. So we said we were only going to go about a half hour today.
Yeah,
so
we're there.
we're gonna wrap it up with something that is kind of a pet peeve for everyone out there, and
What
that
is
is these newer cars that you stop at a
yes.
stoplight and it shuts itself off for like a
Horrible
split second
feature.
and then starts
Everyone hates
itself
it.
up.
Yeah.
It's the
Everyone
dumbest
hates
thing
this.
ever. Hopefully, if you have a car like that, you at least are able to get into the manual and figure out how to shut it off, like I did. I shut that damn thing off.
Nice.
And
Yeah,
I
my
know I
car
have
does
one
not do
car
this.
that you have to shut it off every time you get in the car. So you get in the car, if you don't want it
You
to
have to
do it,
shut
you
off
have
the
to shut it
feature.
off. You have
That's
to shut
annoying.
the feature off. So the
Oh my
feature
God.
automatically stays on. But now the Trump administration, I thought they did this already, but now it's being reported that they are definitely eliminating,
Right.
and they call it an Obama era requirement. But really what it was I guess automakers got some kind of credits.
Yes,
That
that's what it was.
incentivized them putting them in. So
Incentive.
he's ending the credits. So no longer do car companies have the get any benefit from putting these things on cars, and that's a very good thing because it's
Very
got to be
good.
the most annoying thing since
And let's face it, the
since
benefit.
record players in cars. Remember they used to have record players in cars back
That,
in the
I
70s?
thought that was a Saturday Night Live skit. A record
No, it
player
was a
in
real
car.
thing.
They
There were
really
record
did?
players. Yeah, they
Oh my
had
God.
record players in cars.
How was it not skipping?
It
was
was.
skipping.
You could
Okay.
only use it like if you were sitting at on
In a parking lot.
Lovers Row or whatever, or in a
Right,
parking
Lovers Lane.
garage. You could put on a little music
record.
on your record
Nice.
player, and it would.
The
pop
young
out of the
people
dash.
have no clue what we're talking about. They don't
Yeah.
know what a record is. I barely remember records, and I'm an old man. So, but that's good. Good for the Trump administration. And the benefits were negligible at best. Let's face it.
All right, Bob. All right, we're
right.
going to wrap this up. We've been on for
Yep.
exactly 30 minutes. Look at us.
Nice.
We're 9:30, and we're at
We're
the end of
pros.
our rundown, and so
are
we timed
pros.
this out perfectly. We are getting
Nice.
more professional at this as time goes on, and we hope you guys can bear with
Still
us.
very unprofessional.
Yeah. I noticed yesterday the audio from the clips tends to be louder
Oh.
in the live than,
know.
so I can't adjust. So I have to figure out how to adjust all that on the fly. But I'm
All
doing
right.
it, man. I got all my computers out in front of me. Look at how
You're
many
doing
I've
good.
got. I've got
You got a lot.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 computers going at once.
Wow, I'm
Can you
not
believe
doing
me?
this whole thing from
You're
one
doing
laptop.
it on one, which
One
obviously
laptop.
means that you're much better at it than I am.
I don't know if that's true. I think I'm worse. I'm very basic. So.
All right, everybody,
Anyway,
we're going to say goodbye
Thank you,
now.
Mallory. Thank you, Mallory.
Thank you, Mallory.
And thank
Mallory's
you,
in
guys.
the background. Everybody
Yep.
say hi to Mallory.
Look at that. There
Mallory
she is.
comes in.
She
There
comes
she
in.
comes in. Mallory,
Nice.
you've got to do that more often. Yeah,
Yeah.
Here you are. What you need to do, Mallory, is tell us to shut up when we're going on too long. Like the
Right.
Iran
So
thing,
we need someone to
Bob
do that.
realized that it was going on too long.
Rap. Say rap.
Absolutely.
we need a wrap.
One of these days, we're going to have you in the background rolling the clips, so I'm not sitting here the whole time trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing, right?
Nice.
So,
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. We love you.
All right.
See
Take
ya.
care. We'll see you next
right.
week.